All that glitters when central banksters print and print, gold and orange coin. As we kind of talk about what's going to be hot in 2023, but the halving 2020, is important because we're coming up in about 3 months to that period where crypto spring ends, crypto summer begins, and we head toward the next halving in 2024. And I also we did our predictions thing with the guys a couple weeks ago, last episode of 2022 TOO. Good riddance, like in the rearview mirror.
I agree.
And so I'm excited about 2023.
Welcome to my channel. Time for Bitcoin. Mark Yusko is an American investor and hedge fund manager. He is the founder and managing director of Morgan Creek Capital Management, a company that advises pension funds, endowments, and wealthy individuals. In this episode, Mark explains what can await us in the new year 2023 and what challenges the market is facing. He remains very positive about Bitcoin and believes it is the financial solution that can save us from the collapse of the financial system.
Rock, paper, scissors, question mark. Paper beats rock, period. Investing, question mark. Rock will beat paper. So again, back to the mining theme, hard assets, buy what is hard, get real, another hashtag of mine. Another one, inflation fading, economies are slowing, liquidity reigns. So pivot is definitely here. So I think there is serious melt-up risk in the oil market. One of my favorites, since I just seeded a European long-only manager, heard Europe was dead. No good companies around. Buy what is on sale. So those are a few of mine there's another one. COVID zero gone. China valuations low. Stimulus to flow. That's a bit with the liquidity reigns. And then one more. King dollar dethroned. Hegemony up for grabs. Yuan, then Bitcoin. So those are my haiku. By 2025, which is not very far from now, there will be 2 billion Gen A's, Gen Alphas, the largest generation ever. 385,000 Gen Alphas born each day. Fully digital native. They'll never use a physical wallet. They'll never set an analog alarm clock. They will never put film in a camera. They will all use crypto. Cars. And in 1900, the automobile was 14 years old, right? And only about 10% of people had an automobile. And then there was this inflection point over the next decade where 90% of people had automobiles and the horse's carriage went away. And so turns out Bitcoin is 14 years old, about the same as the automobile, and probably going to have the same type of adoption. But I just thought that was, when we talk about technological innovation, disruption, it's on the outs right now, right? I mean, poor Kathy, down every single day, right? People are just selling ARK. I joke the ARK has sprung a leak, and everyone thinks innovation's dead. Look, I'm old. I lived through 2001, 2002. This is exactly exactly what happened in 2001, 2002. Enron defrauded people. Tyco defrauded people. People were like, oh, this WorldCom, square inch real estate. There'll never be, this internet thing. It's gonna die, and pets.com is stupid, and you guys are all idiots. And, board was like ready to fire us at UNC for investing in this stupid stuff. And then, we had this art technology group thing where we put in for every dollar we put in, our cost of the stock was 50 cents, and we sold it for $100. We made 200 times our money, turned $100,000 into $20 million for the university. They're like, oh, I like that. Do that more.
do more of that. Yeah.
Do more of that.
Yeah.
But then it went to zero. Literally, the stock went to zero. The company Well, but then here's the interesting thing, and this is another chart that I saw this morning that's amazing. If you look at all the comparisons of the bubble that we just lived through to 2000, right, they all look the same. Right? NASDAQ went up and then it went down 84%. And, Peloton went up and went down, and Tesla went up and went down, and everything looks like this bubble chart. But then this guy put the next part of the chart, which is, then NASDAQ went parabolic. Now it took 20 years, but it went super parabolic, went way higher than the 2000 peak. So look, I think inflation is going to crash, like super crash. I think we'll be I'm gonna say sub 3 by the end of the year.
Okay.
We'll be back in that 2 zone. We won't get back to 2, but we'll be sub 3 by the end of the year. Now, that reverses. I will say that reverses if my oil haiku is right, which is, I think people totally botched the oil patch. A lot of people, I think, misunderstand the supply-demand dynamic. And yes, OPEC has spare capacity, and they could turn the spigots on and hurt the price. But we tried that, right? Biden tried to talk to them and plead with them before the election, and they said, nope, we got a new friend, right? Their new bestie is China, right? They want to join the BRICS. This is a big deal. This is a big, big deal. That if the S is not South Africa is not a developed market. It's not a developing market. It's a developed market. It's a real country in a continent that has a lot of developing countries in it. But South Africa never really belonged in the BRICS. But if you add Saudi to BRICS, that's a big deal. And I think Kirill Sokolov, who I love, I think he calls it the Alliance of the Aggrieved. So Russia, China, Saudi, India, to a lesser extent, and Brazil, basically the Southern Hemisphere, right? Basically the Southern Hemisphere. And Saudi doesn't exactly fit there, but it's kind of on the border. But the Southern Hemisphere, he had this great stat. 87% of the world's population had no vote in the rules on which they must comply with, having to do a dollar hegemony, right? Bretton Woods was created by the big uglies after the war, all Northern, all Western, all now aging, slowing, and these burgeoning countries around the world are now aligning. And that creates a really interesting dynamic. And it's why it goes back to why I'm wearing the mining socks today. Stuff, right? Stuff that's produced, whether it's oil, whether it's gold, whether it's minerals. Think about how much lithium has to be mined to get to 120 million EVs. And we've all seen the pictures of the kids, mining cobalt. I'm sure there's a little sensationalism there, but it's real, right? They got little kids walking around picking up chunks of cobalt, putting it in bags in the DRC, because there's only a couple places on the planet where you can get cobalt. So that's a long, winding answer to mining materials, gold miners, right? They were just in the toilet. And I think they could have a really, really good year. Now, gold, I think it's going to have a good year, but it won't have a great year because JP Morgan's going to spoof it, right? They're going to try to keep it down, because if it takes off, that damns the Fed, basically indicts the Fed by saying that you destroyed the money, right? Because gold is money, right? And as gold prices rise, we realize that our money is less valuable. Like if other stuff rises, that can be temporal, like I think real estate, I think that's a temporal thing. With rising rates, interest rate, housing prices are going to fall. But gold is the ultimate arbiter of value. And that's why I think Bitcoin will have a better year than gold.
Thank you for staying until the end. Please like and subscribe if you appreciate my work.